What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Got a review for you. I saw Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is the reboot of Tomb Raider. Well, if you don't already know, Tomb Raider is actually a video game. It's a very, very popular video game that has been out for many, many years, and they made a film, or rather, they adapted it into a film back in, 2001, and it starred Angelina Jolie. It was called Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and I guess it was successful enough to get a sequel in 2003, and that one was called Lara Croft Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life. Both films, I didn't really like any of them. The first one I thought was, like, not even really okay at best. It just wasn't a very good film. And then the second one was so bad that I couldn't even remember anything about it. I can't remember anything about it at all. Completely forgettable. But then, 15 years later, we got the reboot. And apparently this reboot is actually based off of the most recent Tomb Raider game. And I never played it, so I went into this movie just like watching it as an adventure film starring a female lead played by Alicia Vikander. Now this film also stars Walton Goggins as the main bad guy. It's also got Daniel Wu in a supporting role, Kristen Scott Thomas, and let's see who else is in here, as well as Dominic West as Lord Richard Croft, her father. Anyways, like I said before, I don't have any knowledge of the game that it's based off of. I only went into this film knowing that it's an adventure film, and that's how I decided to watch this film. And you know what? Well, I went into this film cautiously optimistic. I had a feeling it was going to be good just because I liked who was playing Lara Croft, and that's Alicia Vikander. I watched a bunch of videos, like little featurettes on the internet, showing that she went through a lot of training, like intense training, and she really looks the part. She really looks the part of Lara Croft. And to top things off, the trailer looked really, really good. I mean, the trailers did look good, and I thought that this looks like a film that could break the video game curse. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys already know that video game movies always suck. I mean, they're never actually that good. I mean, even Resident Evil was average at best, but none of these video game adapted films are actually good films. I mean, Mortal Kombat was the last one, and I do like Final Fantasy Advent Children. I thought that was really great, but that doesn't really count. I'm talking about live action Hollywood films. I thought that this trailer looked really, really good, but then I also thought Assassin's Creed looked good. And I didn't even really bother to watch that because I heard it was so terrible. Anyways, went into Tomb Raider cautiously optimistic, and I came out pleasantly surprised. The curse of the video game movie has been broken. It has been finally broken because this is actually a good film. It's got a great beginning, middle, and end, and actually I started liking this film right at the very beginning of the movie because it really shows you who Lara Croft is as opposed to jumping into the film where Lara Croft is already an adventurer. She reluctantly wants to become go on this mission, but it happens. It happens I guess in a way which makes a lot of sense, and I like the story development of it. And then she gets herself into all these types of situations which are really intense and exciting. And there's a moment in the movie where, you know, she gets a bow and arrow, and that was a really, really great scene. So you could really see you know, she's done a lot of training, as well as there's a lot of really intense stunt work going on, which really makes it look believable. In a way, I kind of think it's got like this Indiana Jones vibe to it. Not quite the same Spielbergian level as Indiana Jones, but still, it's still got that kind of like tone of adventure, and I really like that about this film because, you know, they go into the jungles, this forbidden area, this place. They shouldn't be there. They go into these tubes with a lot of traps and stuff. So very, very cool, very like full of mystery, but at the same time, you kind of have a feeling that it just feels a lot like those other adventure films that we have seen before. I couldn't help but compare it to films like Temple of Doom and The Mummy and things like that. But thankfully, this film is a lot more grounded. I really like the fact that it was a more grounded, gritty, more realistic, edgier take on Tomb Raider, and it just felt more intense in that sense, and it was less cartoon violence. A lot of the action is very, very realistic, and I really liked they're taking the story. So it's a good movie, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a great movie. I do think it's definitely above average, and it is a good movie, and it's one of the best video game adaptations out there, and it could potentially be the best video game film to exist. I just have to look over the list of video game movies and probably watch Mortal Kombat again and do a little bit of a comparison. But for now, I would say that Tomb Raider is the best video game movie out there. So I'm pretty happy about that. And there are some plot holes that I was just thinking about right away when they happened. Once it happened, I was like, okay, that is definitely a plot hole. But it didn't bother me that much. It was a little bit like lazy, but it didn't bother me too much. Walton Goggins plays a good villain, but he plays a very typical cliche villain. So, you know, that's something that's not much of a stretch for, you know, these types of villain characters. But he does play it well, even though it's a character that we've seen before. And Daniel Wu is, you know, is a pretty solid supporting character. Anyways, there you have it. It breaks the video game curse, which is a great thing. So maybe from this point on, we're finally going to start getting good video game movies because they figured out how to get the story right. So let's hope for the best. Anyways, I'm going to give Tomb Raider a 7 out of 10. It's definitely a good score, and I would recommend it, especially for people who are fans of the game. Apparently, based on my friend that I went with, he said that the game and the movie are very, very comparable, and fans of the video game will really love this film. So if you're a fan of the video game, if you're a fan of adventure, and you're a fan of Tomb Raider, then definitely do check this out, because it is a solid film. There you have it, 7 out of 10. As always, if you enjoyed this review, you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me, Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Hugh. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.